Go.
So right about now, you guys are thinking, does he always wear that red sweater? Well, it is my favorite sweater. At any rate, this is video number 5 of 6 total. Today we're going to talk about DE powder. Its full name is diatonomous earth. It's a naturally occurring substance. I will warn you, it is a hazardous substance and you should always wear a mask and goggles when you use it. Now, you're not going to be interacting with DE. By the way, if you go into a pool store, don't say diatonomous, just say DE. They'll know exactly what you're talking about. Some filters use sand to filter particles, but DE powder is incredibly efficient at trapping even the most microscopic particles in the pool, so that's why I use it. As long as you follow proper precautions, wear a mask. First thing I do is see where the wind's blowing. I don't want to stand downwind of it and inhale any of the powder. Okay, so wear a mask, you're not going to have any problems. And you're not going to have to do this very often. But in order for the filter, in order for that filter to work, it has to be what they call charged with DE powder. Now, the pool is crystal clear. It's been crystal clear for a month. If you have a clean pool, you may only have to do this 2 times an entire season, maybe. However, if you waited until the 4th of July to open the pool and it's full of green algae, it could take you a long time to try to get it clean, and the filter is going to get dirty and you're going to have to go through this process multiple times. Again, my advice, open early, keep your pool clean, and you're not going to have any problems. Okay, so Suzanne's going to zoom in on this substance. It looks like baby powder. Okay? And the filter takes 6 of those orange containers. Okay? 6 of those is considered a full charge. Okay? So, what I do is I fill up a Home Depot bucket with DE powder. Now, I've already put 5 scoops in there, and let me just give you some idea of what you don't fill it to the brim. You fill it about to within 2 inches of the top. That's considered a full cup. So 6 of those. I already put 5 of them in there. So I'm going to add the last one. There's 6. Okay, so why do you do that? Well, like I indicated earlier, without DE powder coating the little fingers inside that filter, it's not going to trap particles, so you need that. Now, when do you know when you need to rinse the filter and add a new charge? It's very simple. It's your pressure gauge that tells you that. So let's take another look at the pressure gauge. This is the pressure gauge, and it hasn't risen at all in a month. Why? Because the water's crystal clear. Now, if the water had been dirty and the filter is really having to work trapping contaminants, particles, algae, what will happen is the pressure gauge will rise. You want the pressure gauge to be in the 10 to 20 psi range. If you're in that range, the filter is working and there's no need to do anything. However, if the filter starts creeping above 20, you probably might want to think about flushing the filter, and I'll show you how to do that in a second, and then recoating it with new DE powder. I want to show you something called bumping the filter. What is this doing? Well, this is called a bump stick here. And in order to use it, you have to turn the pump off. So we're going to go into the shed. I'm going to turn the pump off. Pump is off. Okay. Now with the pump off, you'll be able to interact with this little bump handle. Now what does this bump handle do? Well, when you bump it, it agitates the little fingers that are dangling inside here. It agitates them and shakes off the particles, and the particles will fall to the bottom. So if the pressure starts to rise to like 20, 22, the first thing you're going to want to do is bump the filter and just see what the result is. This is how you bump the filter. Put your hand over here like this, and you're going to want to gently push down, and then you're going to do this 5 times. So down and then aggressively pull it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now what did that do? It shook contaminants off the fingers so that the fingers are cleaner and can resume trapping particles. You basically shook it and cleaned it out a little bit. And then you're going to turn the pump back on and see what the result is. Now, the result will be, you will note that if, let's say, you had pressure of 22, 23, it was creeping up, you will notice a significant drop in pressure, which is good. Again, you want it in the 10 to 20 range. You will see a drop because it's now cleaning more efficiently. But if you have a really dirty pool and you haven't been maintaining it, you may have to flush out the system altogether. So what we're going to do here is flush out the filter. You're basically going to run water through it. So this is what I'm going to do in order to do that. If you could come around here, Suzanne, so you can see this valve here. So this is a drain valve. I'm going to open that drain. And again, you're only going to have to do this maybe twice an entire season. So I'm going to open that valve. Okay, now not much is coming out because what I need to do is I need to interact with this little knob here. If you could come over here, Suzanne, you can just approach me and zoom down on this. I need to introduce a little air in the system, and notice that now it really starts to flow. Now what you want is, we're going to turn the pump on and we're going to cycle water through this, and you're going to let it run until you see clean water. Like right now you can see it has trapped particles, that's why it's that grayish color. And by the way, when you do this, Suzanne, did you get a zoom on this little thing here? Okay. So when I do this, I'm going to shut this valve off. This prevents any water from flowing this way. All the water is concentrated in the filter. Okay, so it's draining. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the pump on and just rinse it. You'll see the water become noticeably cleaner. So So I'm going to turn the pump on. There's no need to follow me into the switch. But you'll see what happens here. Water's going to come shooting out of there, obviously, because the valve's open. Okay, notice the water's getting cleaner. I know it's shooting out there at a rapid speed, but I can tell you that that water is basically clean. So I'm going to shut the pump off. And then I'm going to close the valve at the bottom. Close the valve at the bottom. Open up the valve at the top. Close this little black knob here. This is for introducing air in the system. I'm going to close that down. And then I'm going to turn the pump back on. And then I'm going to introduce brand new DE powder into the system over at the skimmer. So step one is to turn the pump back on. I'm going to put my mask on when I dump this in. So I put my mask on. I go over. I turn the pump on. Okay, so now the pump is drawing water. Come over here. I already have my 6 pre-measured cups of DE powder. I stand upwind and wear a mask. You can come over here, Suzanne. And I simply dump it in here at a measured rate. It'll consume the powder. It's drawing it in now over the pump. And when you see it disappear, just add a little more. Don't rush it. Let it take it at its own pace. But once you see it disappear like that, so right now, that DE powder is being drawn into the fingers, and that provides the filter. And that's it. I'm gonna come over to the gauge to see what the gauge is. And as expected, it's got perfect pressure, 10. This is operating at maximum efficiency with brand new DE powder. If you keep your pool in good shape, you might have to do this in July. But you're not going to have to do this every week. I mean, every week it's simple. Just keep those little pucks in there and you're going to be good to go. So that pretty much summarizes how to add DE powder, how to rinse this out. Just run it till you see clean water and we're all set here. There's only going to be